Hello and welcome back to HRD Live, where I'm now joined by Sereena Abbassi from M&C Saatchi Group. Sereena, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
So, what have you been sharing with audiences at the summit?
So I did start off by saying that it's not going to be what they expected, because I was pulled in pretty last minute, as you probably know. So spoke very briefly at the beginning about how we kind of baked our D&I agenda into our business strategy. So, we're actively looking to create businesses with underrepresented groups. But for us, actually, underrepresented could be like white working class as well. So anyone, because our organisation is there's a strong archetype, let's say. So we just want to make sure we're more reflective of London.
Wow,
so, yeah.
Fantastic. So it's diversity of all different kinds, basically, thinking about what exactly that means.
Exactly.
But for the people watching this, business leaders who maybe are thinking about that kind of thing, but have no idea really how to, as you say, kind of bake that into their strategy. How do you start that off? How do you get going baking it, as you say, into the strategy?
Yeah, I think for us, the way that we're constructed is somewhat different to, so we acquire businesses, but actually a lot of the time we create businesses with people.
Right.
So a lot of the businesses that we actually have within our UK group, for example, are someone within our organisations had an amazing idea, and then we're like, right, we're going to give you some money to make that happen, and we'll basically invest in you for the next few years and see if it materialises. So it's somewhat different, I suppose, to most businesses.
Yeah.
But in regards to the primary kind of content that I was delivering earlier, I was talking about, in order for us to really understand the barriers that we have within our organisation. Our organisation is essentially just a microcosm, so we need to look at the macro. So looking at the kind of systemic injustices that there are, and how do they then translate in our organisation. So the same barriers to access,
of course,
on the macro are the same barriers to access on the micro.
Absolutely.
So we were just kind of delving into that. We're also looking at post-colonial culture as well.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it was pretty diverse.
Wow,
Like, pun
amazing. It
intended.
reminds me of uni.
Exactly.
Fantastic, post-colonial lit and all that stuff. Anyway, going back to it, but so there's an interesting issue here around, I think, where does the responsibility for that lie in business? Because enacting that change for a lot of businesses is really challenging.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, is it the role of leadership? Is it a communication thing? Is it a cultural change that businesses need to enact? How can that get off the ground? Whose responsibility is it?
Yeah, so we spoke about that. It's essentially everyone's responsibility, but representation is everything. So if the most senior person in your organisation isn't on board, that's not going to cascade down to the rest of the organisation.
Right.
And in order for it to be baked into a business strategy, it needs to come from the top. And so I have to say, we're really lucky at M&C Saatchi. We've got an incredible global CEO who doesn't like global because it's very Americanized. Worldwide CEO, Murray McLennan, and he's just an absolute delight. He totally gets it. And actually, there was a real turning point for us, which was last May. So I've been with the organisation exactly 2 years today.
Congrats.
And thank you. And he and I stood up with each other and we presented to all the CEOs globally. So we have these very decadent worldwide board meetings that happen once every 6 months. And anyway, so in our worldwide board meeting last May, it was just incredible. Just having people seeing how invested he was, and actually him really outlining why this is such a business imperative. Consumers are kind of really putting the pressure on clients, which means they're putting the pressure on agencies to start delivering and being more representative of the societies in which they exist.
Fantastic. So for those people watching, as I say, who maybe are inspired by what you said and really want to get this kind of change going but haven't the faintest idea of even where to begin, what would maybe be your top tip in terms of just starting to think about it, in terms of starting to make that change?
Okay, well, it starts by, I spoke about this in the talk actually, it starts by listening. So conducting a listening exercise, whether that be bringing in external consultants, like Carers, for instance, like we did, that's run by Frank Douglas, or whether that be creating a cultural committee, but that still needs to come from the top, I believe, where our cultural committee is made up of our UK chairman, a few other senior people, but actually a lot of people just from across the organisation who have come together to really kind of air their grievances, but also just kind of share, also best practice as well.
Right.
But I would say the best place to start is maybe bringing in external consultants so they can just have a very nice impartial ear. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Sereena. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you, Michael.
Stay tuned, guys. Some more interviews very soon.